Hi there, it's Vanessa. Next up on my carriage cleaning agenda is the G carriage, the Garter carriage. So I decided to start with the KG93, partially because I think it's just going to be the most satisfying clean, visually anyways. Plus two, I'm not sure if this works, and I'm very curious if it does. And if it doesn't, or then I've still got the KG95, right? So let's begin. Okay, so I'm going to start with these 3 screws here. I can't really even begin to say how excited I am that I will have a garter carriage. Okay, is this going to lift away? Yep. Okay. So there we get our first peek inside. Okay. And I actually don't think that this has ever been apart. Okay, so that goes on the side. These go with this. I don't know. The screws have that feel the first time you take a screw out of a factory, or take out a factory installed screw where it's screwing into plastic. It just has that feel to it. So okay, I do think I have one more screw to find. I'm just trying to remember where. Okay, so we just flip this cover open, and if you can see it, there's another screw right there. And again, I think that's the first time this screw has ever been broken free of the plastic. Okay, so it looks like I forgot to pause, but basically I forgot to unpause once I got the electronic screwdriver. But basically, there was a C-clamp, like a little, or a C-clip, one of those little C-shaped things that was holding this piece onto here, and that was where it was binding. So I removed that, and then we were good to go to take it apart. And then I've taken some pictures of these buttons where they're at for reference. So this is the counter, and this is the board for your on-off switch. And I will probably, like, they don't look like they would be very difficult to take off of the plastic when I go to clean everything. So I will probably do that, just because, you know, this is sat for a while, so it's dirty. Okay, then there is dust and lint and fibers and grease everywhere. So that needs a good clean. That needs a good clean. This one is not as bad, but it is still dirty. You know, the grease is actually in good shape. It's just got a lot of lint in it and dust, and really needs a good cleaning. So it's not all fully accessible at this point, and I don't know how much further I want to go or am comfortable going, but there is lots of dust still happening in this mechanism. So I feel like anything further would come from, like, any further access would come from this side. I don't know if that is supposed to move, because the other side does. Well, I don't think this towel is ever going to be the same. Well, it's a very short screw, so I'm optimistic that it is only holding this piece on. These I'm not so sure about. See if I can get a peek from the side. Okay, that only goes into the plastic. It doesn't go that far down. Okay, let's see if I remove this. The thing is I know this piece comes out, this plastic piece here. I know it does. But I just can't figure out what attachment point I am missing. So I have to remember I have that all the way on position 1, and something came out. There, and I would imagine, I don't know where it went, but it didn't fall, so it's stuck to a magnet somewhere, because the piece that makes the gear click did come out. So that's going to have to be found. And it doesn't look like that comes off. Okay. Oh, I see it. It's this tiny little piece of metal, and it's got a spring that it sits on. And if I could just figure out how to get this plastic piece off. Because I want to remove this, and I want to remove this. I don't feel like these screws are likely to be... Oh, wait a minute. Something moved finally. Oh, I guess without the gear. Well, turns out I'm going to hold this very, very carefully. It was the screws that I didn't think it was. These two pieces here, that's what was holding it in. Ooh, it should be dirty. Wow, that's just full of yarn fibers. Loads and loads of yarn fibers. Okay, so now this comes off. And boy, we're going far with this. There's magnets on this, so I'm being careful because I have my screws where I know where they are, and the magnets are kind of strong, so I don't want it to grab the screws, so I'm going to put it way off to the side. And from there, let's see, what are we going to do next? Well, that piece of yarn, I'm pretty sure I can replace that with a tie strap. What I'm wondering is if I can get this board and motor off. Like if I do that, will that remove everything? One way to find out. Oh, it's tight, but there we go. That popped out. It's the jack for the power cord. And then trying to make sure I don't get my big fat head in the way. And we're just going to snip this yarn. And that will just leave the motor attached, and then all the electronics are out. So I'm going slow. because I don't know if there's a registration mark of any sort. And I think this is a good point to stop. I'm not sure if this is going to be a part 1 followed by a part 2, but I do know that I have a dog who needs to go for a WALK. So I'm going to stop here and see where we're at time-wise, and then decide if it'll be a part, if it'll be all in one, or if there will be a part 2.